Hello and welcome. My name is Sheetal Story. I'm a medium, an astrologer, and a soul coach. Today I want to talk to you about the tarot deck. Now the tarot deck is one of my favorite divination tools to use. Now why do we need a divination tool? A tool like this allows us to focus our intuition and our psychic awareness towards getting insight or answers to things that are happening in our lives. So there are many different kinds of divination tools out there. One of the oldest ones that are often used in movies is the crystal ball, which is great. All a tool like this does is focus your awareness, focus your intuition to kind of see insights and get answers for yourself. So there's other card decks out there, the playing card decks, which originated actually from Egypt. I don't know if you knew that, and came across in the 14th century into Europe. And the playing card deck was also used as a divination tool back in the day, and the four suits correspond with the four suits of the tarot deck. I love that. I love synchronicities in this world. And coincidentally, no such thing as coincidence, of course, the four suits of the tarot deck and the card deck correspond with the four elements in Native American culture, also in astrology. So there is so much crossover. I love it. I love it. So the tarot deck was commissioned by a mystic. His name was Rider-Waite. He went to an artist, Pamela Colman-Smith, who was of Jamaican descent, living in the UK, and she drew all of the cards based on Rider-Waite's direction. And then it was published by Rider & Sons Company. So this deck is called the Rider-Waite deck, but I like to call it the Rider-Waite-Smith deck in honor of this beautiful artist who actually died penniless. And unfortunately on my birthday, just I think an interesting coincidence. Of course, we know there's no such thing as coincidence. So I love the tarot deck. There's 78 cards in the deck, and 56 of them are considered the minor arcana, and 22 are the major arcana. So major arcana cards are sort of major cards. They are themes that stand of themselves, and they're very powerful. The 56 other cards are divided into four suits, and those four suits correspond with the four suits of the playing card deck, as I mentioned before. So the 56 cards are divided into the four suits, and they are comprised of 10 cards that are from 1 to 10, and then 4 court cards, which is king, queens, knights, and pages. So there's a lot here to know. Now with the tarot deck, you must know what the cards mean. You cannot intuit, this card reminds me of a rainbow and lots of cups. No, this card actually means a happy family life and coming into the emotion of what that feels like. There's a meaning to every card in this deck. There's much more of this card, of course, that I can go into description of, but even down to the colors and the way it has been drawn and the two children and the landscape in the back, that all actually has meaning in this card. So you must know what the cards mean if you're going to be doing a tarot reading. Now there are other cards out there that you don't need to know what they mean. Those are called angel cards or oracle cards, and they have beautiful symbolism on there. Some of them even have the whole reading written on there, so you don't have to know what the cards mean. Now the real beauty and magic happens when you tap into your intuition and let go of everything you think that the card is trying to say. Does that make sense? Look at the card, understand what it means, and then go within to see what your intuition is trying to tell you. So with oracle and angel cards, you can do that, but you can also read what it means. There's a little book that comes with it. You can read about the book and see all that. So you don't have to be an experienced intuitive or medium or psychic to use those cards. They're really free and open to anyone to use. So with the tarot deck, there are these 56 different minor arcana, and they're divided into four suits. Now the four suits are pentacles, which is coins, or that corresponds to sort of money or resources or things that we value. It's considered the earth suit. The next one is swords. So swords corresponds to air, and air is all about the lessons that we came here to learn, the understanding, the intellect, the education. So sometimes when you get a lot of swords cards, it means that you're probably going through some difficult times right now and learning some valuable lessons, because everything is moving you forward in some positive way. This is all about expanding your spirit. Nothing that is happening to you is bad. Everything is happening for an opportunity to grow, learn, and understand. That makes sense? I hope it does. The next one we're going to talk about is the cups. Now, cups correspond to the hearts, and it's all about emotion. It's about, water. It's that, sign where it's all about, the love or the depths of that emotion that's coming up from that. So this being a cups card is talking about the feeling of having this sort of family life, being surrounded by loved ones, and the feeling of that in your life is joyous and uplifting and supported. So it's a really lovely card to get. Fourth suit is batons or staves, corresponds to the element of fire, and it talks about motivation, inspiration. What is moving you forward? What are you trying to learn here? How is it that things are sort of taking you forward? What's the inspiration? So I love that. So all four of those correspond to the elements, and also correspond with the suits of the playing cards. So if you know what these are, you can also use playing cards to give a reading, which I love. So in the card deck, in the tarot, there are 3 cards that I always love to caution my clients because they can look a little scary. I personally love the Rider-Waite-Smith deck because it does have a lot of beautiful positive symbolism. Every card has a positive meaning for something that's happening in your life, because remember, nothing bad is happening in your life. Everything is good, pushing you forward, opportunities for growth and expansion. And some of those growth and expansion friction points can feel really tough as we're going through them. Of course, that has to be depicted in the cards, right? So when these cards come up, I like to explain to my clients that there's nothing bad. And I will not, and I think a really good tarot reader, psychic, intuitive, will never predict death, because there is no point to it. To what purpose would someone predict death? It's coming for all of us. It's coming for your loved ones. Do you sit there and worry and sit by the phone and go, could this be the call? Is this the time? Is it happening now? No, life is moving forward. Everybody's life is going to be moving forward in their own way. And when that life, now they pass on back into spirit, that will happen in its own due course as well. What good is it for me to tell you that someone is going to pass? Sit there and worry? No. As a good psychic, as a good intuitive, I would say to a client, when's the last time you saw your parents? It would be a great time to reconnect and start to kind of grow and heal whatever is sitting there that's waiting to be healed, because you don't have forever. That's it. And you don't. It could come up in the cards in that there's some healing needing to be done there, because if he doesn't or she doesn't do this healing, then they can't move forward in their other relationships. It's ambiguous enough that the direction is important. Go heal your relationships, right? I mean, we should be doing that anyway, but we get stubborn and we go, no, I'm not going to do that. And then when someone passes away, why did we wait so long? So that's what a good intuitive would say. It's not about someone's going to pass. It's, well, what are you doing in this part of your life? How is this person in your life? Maybe you need to get more healing and time in there. Ambiguous, but positive and very meaningful. Love it. So the first card we're going to talk about that can bring up a little bit of fear in people is the Death card. And the Death card, I love it. It's this, the horseman coming to take the soul back to the other side, one of the 4 horsemen. And he, when this comes up in your life, it just means that there's an ending of a cycle and a beginning of a new, because something has to die for something new to grow, right? If your life is being plugged up by a crappy relationship, that you keep picking these terrible people that you're dating and you deserve better, life will continue to cycle until you decide, I've had enough. I'm not doing that anymore. Now, what I love about the universe, it will always try to see if you've learned the lesson. It'll test you. So it'll hand you another good-looking loser. And what happens if you take the bait? You're back in the cycle again. But if you don't take the bait, now you're on your trajectory. You have now cycled up. You're not cycling at the same place. Make sense? I'm sure when you look back on your life, you can see where the cycle had to end, something had to die or cease to be, and then the next part comes. So even with spirit, it doesn't cease to be. It moves on to its next incarnation, its next life. It becomes discarnate or in spirit. So no such thing as death, but there are such things as endings. And you can say thank you for that ending, thank you for the lesson, and move forward. Make sense? The next card that makes people go, oh my God, is the Tower card. And understandably so, right? It's sort of, the lightning's hitting the top, people are falling out of the tower, and it's sort of death and destruction, so to speak. Now, it means a sudden and unexpected change is coming. That's what this is. So what I like to kind of describe it as an avalanche. If you were looking for the avalanche, you would see that there's always pebbles before the avalanche comes down onto the side of the mountain or the village below. There's always signs. And when you can see the signs, you can then act or be ready, right? But if you're not willing to act, you see the signs, but you don't do anything, or you pretend not to see the signs, what happens? Life will change for you drastically. And that's when this Tower card comes up. So I had a client that it came up in their career house, and I said, make sure you're ready. You know, your career is going to be changing very drastically very soon, because the way that it came up, it was like imminent. It hadn't happened yet, but it was coming. So I said, do you have your resume together? Do you have your LinkedIn profile together? Do you have your references contacted? Be ready, because it's coming. And she went, no. I've been in this job for 8 years. I'm perfectly fine. It's like, okay, as an intuitive, I'm telling you, I see this, and it is absolutely going to happen for you. What you do with that information is up to you. Sure enough, in 6 months, she lost her job. She was not prepared. Why come see me if you're not willing to hear the advice, right? So if the Tower card comes up for you, it just means that something is going to be changing. And what I love about being an intuitive is I can help people get prepared for that, right? That's when the coaching part of it comes in is, okay, what are you doing for this? What is your career really telling you? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Because an ending in your career means something new is coming and you have stagnated, or you have held on because of the money, because it feels comfortable, because you don't know what else is out there. You're hanging on for fear, right? And life won't let you hang on for fear. It will push you forward. So the Tower card. And then the last card I'm going to talk about in the tarot deck is the Devil card. Now, I personally really love this card. And when it comes up, it does talk about something in your life that needs to be changed, and it's highlighting that. So the Devil card, as you can see, sitting on his altar, and there's these 2 chains holding these 2 people in place. But if you look at the chains, they're so big, they can lift them off their head and walk away. But the perception is they're stuck. Are they stuck? No, they're not. So what the card is really saying is an attachment to people, places, things, and habits that are not serving your highest good, but you keep doing them. Right? So at the very low end of the scale, it's like saying yes when you should be saying no, saying yes to, friends and accommodating people at the expense of your energy and your time. And again, plugging up your schedule with things that aren't as important to you. So all this stuff that's really important to you can't come in. So if this card is coming up that way, I would say, what are you saying yes to? Why are you saying yes to these things? Maybe it's time to change your priorities, change your friends, look at what else is going on in your life, right? On the very high end of the scale, it's drugs, addiction, alcoholism. So it's things that we do to ourselves to medicate. Why are we medicating in this way? What is really the root of the problem? Because with drugs and alcohol, it's always medicating something else that's below. We don't want to look at it. It's too ugly. So we try to fill it. Even overspending and trying to buy clothes that make you feel better, even if you don't feel good about yourself, and then you're just wasting money. This card comes up in that too. Cool, right? It's telling you, all the different aspects this is coming up. And if it comes up in different parts of your life, like if this comes up in your health house, it's what are you doing for your health that isn't really serving your highest good? Let's talk about that. Why are you doing that? So my tarot readings aren't just, here's the card, this is what's happening in your life, go, thank you very much. This is about how can I set you up for the best part of your life? How can I get you ready for what's coming? How can I help you and be of service? Because I came here to be of service in this lifetime, and I'm betting so did you, right? So I love to help you on that path. So I hope that answers, or anything that you ever sort of wondered about the tarot deck, or you had any kind of inquiries about it. If you have any more questions about the tarot deck, you can just drop it below in the thread, and I'll answer them as well. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more weekly videos. Well, not weekly. I will try my best to be weekly, but life is a little busy. But when I do, I will come with intention. I promise that. Thank you so much for your support. I love all of you, and I wish you all such a joyous and wonderful life. Bye for now.